And again, it is Friday, September the 1st, right here. This is Around Midnight. And by the way, you know, we didn't talk about this before, but we have to kind of throw a nod and sort of bow our heads to the disaster that's going on over there in Texas right now. CJ, I know you wanted to talk about that. And let's not even discuss the heat wave that we've got going on down here, you know, on the West Coast. But, boy, they're really kind of taking a beating over there in the middle of the country right now.
Yeah, I've been hearing. I was watching YouTube a little bit during the eclipse, and this guy had uploaded it felt like 4 years long, but it was about an hour-long video, and he was talking about how after the eclipse there's going to be all these bizarre weather things and all this other stuff, and then no sooner than that happens, you get the flooding in Houston, you get the heat wave over here, you've got North Korea launching missiles over Japan. And it just seems
By the way, they were really upset about that. The Japanese are really angry, and they're actually kind of jumping on our bandwagon and threatening some kind of severe retaliation.
Yeah. If you guys do that again, we're telling America.
That's probably exactly what it boiled down to. All right. Well, so of course, no show would be complete without
Trump in the news.
All right, so
you like that way too much.
I do. That's a lot of fun. And here's the thing: Trump has, besides his very scripted response to the disasters taking place, he almost sounded presidential when he made his statements about what was happening over there right now with the state of emergency that exists. It's amazing what a teleprompter can do for you. Maybe in a decent script writer, and if he sticks to the script, and
which he's not good at.
No, I swear that he's actually sitting there tweeting while he's, and then he's like, oh, that was a great one.
Yeah,
let me throw that into the speech.
Just like tweet his scripts to him, and then maybe he'll actually.
There you go. But so he has taken to reverse a policy from the Obama era, and he's authorizing again the military to start selling off. Or giving away surplus hardware to law enforcement agencies around the country.
They've been doing that for a while.
Well, yeah, the practice began in 1990. But after some very high-profile events where police that were armed with this military hardware took a very hard line against protesters and the like, the Obama administration kind of sat up and took notice and said, there's a reason that the Constitution says that the military is not supposed to be used against the citizenry, and there's a reason that the police force only has so much firepower.
Well, that actually came to a head in Monrovia. I don't remember how many years ago, but the PPD basically has one of those, it's like an armored APC that they got from the military, and they had a huge battering ram on the front of it. And they rammed through this house in Monrovia, took out pretty much the whole wall to go after some guy for what, I don't want to say it was a minor infraction. I think it's some drug-related charge or something like that. But it was an unbelievably strong show of force.
Yeah. Now, and here's the thing. So the Obama administration in 2015 said, enough's enough. We're not using military hardware for the police departments. We're stopping this practice. Up to that point, police departments like Los Angeles. Now, I have to say, Los Angeles Police Department, in their defense, they don't purchase real military hardware. They don't get they don't accept the military hardware from the military. They did accept like face shields and bulletproof vests and that kind of thing, but they sort of draw the line there. But other law enforcement agencies around the country have gotten things like half-track vehicles, that are basically tanks, armored personnel carriers, which are the APCs you're referring to, even the MRAPs, which are the military armored explosive vehicles that were designed for use in Iraq and other places there in the Middle East, and even grenade launchers. And I'm sorry, I get the armored vehicle thing to some degree. When you start adding tracks to them, I start getting concerned. But what do the police need with grenade launchers?
I don't have a problem with it if we are going to go according to the Constitution and I'm allowed to have the same thing.
So you want the balance of power.
Heck yeah. If they get a grenade launcher, I want a grenade launcher. If they get a tank, I want a bigger garage because I'm going to get a tank.
Now, again, in all fairness, apparently the story goes that with the grenade launchers, they modify these things to fire tear gas canisters and the like.
Come on.
But I'm thinking it can probably still launch a grenade, too.
It didn't even have to be a grenade. You ever take a tear can to the face?
No, I can't say that I have. Have you?
Those things, they shoot pretty freaking solid, man.
Well, okay, so now, this is an interesting discussion right here because, on the one hand, it's militarization of the police force, which is kind of like an extension of the government's arm in keeping the people under control. That's one way to look at this. The flip side is that you have this influx of terrorism, and you have people that are sworn to do anything they can to kill as many people as possible in the name of their cause. We've seen it happen around the world recently where they're getting a hold of vans, driving them into crowds, jumping out with explosives and guns and trying to kill as many people as they can.
But here's the problem with that.
Okay.
Militarizing the police is not going to stop that from happening because the police cannot respond until something happens. And usually they're not going to be there for 90 minutes, 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Well, I'm going to go on the record, by the way, as saying I'm really not for the militarization of the police force, but I am playing devil's advocate here and presenting both sides of this and opening it up for discussion.
I think that if in that situation, that's the reason why this Fourth Amendment exists.
Okay.
Because if we were an armed populace, and I'm not saying everybody has to have an AK strapped to their back, but if they didn't make such a big deal about, an average citizen having a handgun, then they could defend themselves. And you might have a terrorist go in and take out 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people. But if 5 of those people had weapons, one of them's going to draw down on that guy.
Isn't this what I said last week?
I'm just saying.
Isn't that exactly what I said last week?
I mean,
the founding fathers had some things right. We do need to talk about that 3/5 rule, though.
Okay.
I was just thinking about talking about tear canisters to the face. I don't know that I'd want to take any kind of canister to the face.
Yeah, as it turns out, it's pretty hard.
Even like one of those little canisters full of fresh tennis balls. I feel like that would still hurt pretty bad.
They have somebody that got that might have been a Simpsons episode with the T-shirt bazooka.
Flanders' wife. Flanders' wife died.
Somebody did get injured by one of those T-shirt bazookas.
Yes, that did happen very recently, as a matter of fact.
That was an actual thing?
Yes, because they have to wad those things up super tight. So if you're within close enough proximity, any kind of projectile coming at you, I've thrown a roll of duct tape at somebody, and
the flip side of that is that I was at a football game not that long ago, and they came out with the T-shirt launcher, and this guy, I'm like, all right, I'm sitting about halfway up, and I'm like, yeah, send me a T-shirt, and this guy goes poof, and it goes. And I mean, it literally went like 2 rows up there, and that was it. And it became sadly apparent within the first 2 shots that there's no T-shirt coming up here. That thing has not got the power to launch anything beyond
they didn't
row
properly
1.
Pack the projectiles.
No, what it is that they've backed the power down on this thing so much to avoid the liability, and that ties into what we were going to be discussing.
Come on, it's got all the PSIs. They're cranking it way down.
Yeah,